Hello and thank you for clicking on the link. Today's video is my 5 top tips to potty training. Now, I'm a mum of 3. I've got a 14-year-old and a 11-year-old and a 2-year-old. Looked like I had to think about it then, didn't I? I've just finished the potty training of my 2-year-old. We've been having to self-isolate for 2 weeks, so I thought this is a really good time to do it because we weren't going anywhere. I also work as a childminder, so I have also potty trained a lot of other kids over the years. So I feel like I am quite qualified in, talking about this kind of thing. So if you want to hear my 5 top tips, then keep watching. Okay, so I've had to make some notes on my phone because otherwise I will just forget what I want to say. Oh, sorry, I'm just putting my coffee down. Okay, so I know if you're doing this the first time round, it's quite daunting, or it can seem quite daunting. And that's not even true, I haven't done potty training for a while, a couple of years, and even the thought of doing it again, I was just like, but I feel like it's always much worse than you think it's going to be, worse than it actually is. There are 5, like I said, 5 things that really help. And the first one is, and I think this is the most important one, is knowing when your child is ready. That is key. And no one knows your child better than you do. So don't let anybody's opinion, put you in doubt of your decision, okay? People say, oh, they should be done by this age, or they should be done by this age, or oh, you haven't started doing it yet. Just ignore everybody and you listen to your instinct, because like I said, you know your child best. Now, I think they will let you know when they are ready. They will either tell you verbally, or they will sort of, pull on their nappy, okay? This sounds silly as well, but talk about it. Talk about wee-wees and poo-poos while they're still in a nappy before you start the potty training. When you're changing their bum, say, oh, you've done wee-wees, you've done poo-poos, just so they are aware and they start to associate those words with those actions. Okay, number 2, this is also important. Don't rush it. It's not a race, okay? I find on average it takes about 2 weeks. Slightly less this time round. I think it's probably taken us about, I don't know, 9 days or something like that. I haven't really been counting, but, and I think if you start when the child is ready, then it's quite an easy process. If you do it too soon, they're not ready. If you leave it too late, which I have had with a child before in the past, it just becomes a big thing. And it's just harder as well. So timing is crucial. But like I say, you know your child. They will show you signs, or they will tell you verbally when they are ready. So when I say don't rush it, just take your time. What we did is we got one of those potties. We bought it from Amazon and it looks like a little toilet, and we had that, well, first of all we had it in our back room and it was just kind of there, and we were talking about it. Oh yes, that's our potty, and that's where you're going to go when you want to do wee-wees and poo-poos. So, you know, you're talking about it all the time. Not all the time, not all the time, but you know, the communication is going. And then I also put it in the downstairs loo as well, so it's next to the big toilet, so you know, she could sometimes see me on the toilet and then she would start to associate the two. That was my plan. You can also buy lots of books about potty training. I think that's a really good idea. So you can have, you know, a story a couple of times throughout the day, in perhaps maybe in the lead up to the potty training and whilst you're potty training. That definitely helps. Okay, number 3. Once you've decided that you're gonna potty train, then you have to commit to it. It's no good letting them run around for 2 days without a nappy on and they are wetting themselves, because it does happen. You'll end up with puddles on the floor, and then you get fed up and think, oh, can't be doing with this, and then you go back to putting them in a nappy, and then you think to yourself, right, I'll try again in a few weeks. That's just going to make things so much harder, so much harder. Once you've decided that you're going to go for it, then you need to go for it, okay? Commitment is key. So once you've committed to the idea of doing it, you need to obviously find a time that is going to be suitable. If you've got a really busy week planned, you've got lots of trips or meetings you need to do, or you're going on holiday, obviously that is not the time to start. You just need time when you can be at home, if you can. If you work, it would be great if you could take a week off work, or perhaps do it over like a long weekend, so you get those sort of first 3 days, the bulk of it done, okay? Weather is also quite an important factor, or it's quite a key factor. It's great if you can let them run around with nothing on the bottom, because it just makes life so much easier. So obviously you don't want to be doing this in December or January when it's freezing cold. You know, you could, I'm sure most people would have the heating on, but it's just nicer to do it when it's not the middle of winter. So if you have to do it then I'm sure, but ideally, yeah, just, I mean, it's October now and we've been doing it and she's been running around and she's been fine, hasn't been too cold. Okay, my tip number 4 is if they struggle staying on the potty, which Evie did at first, there's a couple of things you can do. They sort of say, you know, yes, I need to go, and then you put them on and they're on there for 2 seconds and they get off because they're impatient. So what I've found is there's a couple of things. One, if you can, stick the potty perhaps in front of the TV and they can watch Peppa Pig or something. If that helps, then do it. You've got to find what works for you. If perhaps they like having a story read to them while they're sat on there, you can read to them. Now, what I found with Evie that works really well, you know, I said before we bought this potty, it turns out in the end she didn't like that. She wanted to go straight onto the toilet with one of those seats. Again, you know, each child is different and it's about finding what works for you. So she had a little step and she could step up and step onto the toilet, and she had a little Peppa Pig seat and she was fine with that. But she'd get up there, she'd be on there for 2 seconds and then say finished, and she hadn't finished. So what I found was lots of stickers. She would sit there and trying to peel them off and stick them on her That was a really good distraction. I also got one of her little dollies, and I would sit that on the toy, I was gonna say the toy potty, the potty that she wasn't using, the one that looked like the toilet. Her dolly would be on there, and we would say, oh, look at Dolly on the potty, and look, Evie is on the big girl toilet, and you're gonna do big girl wee-wees. And she was all very pleased with herself. And then we would talk about the stickers, we put stickers on baby, and it was just something that would keep her there for longer. And eventually it clicked, and you know, she started doing wee-wees and poo-poos. I find that the wees always come first, and then it's always a little bit harder to get them to do number 2s, but it does happen. Okay, number 5, my final tip is repetition. Keep asking them, do you need to go for wee-wees? Do you need poo-poos? And they'll say no, no, no. And at first, for the first couple of days, I think you'll just say, come on, let's go and see, and put them on there themselves. Don't take their word for it, okay? And then eventually they will associate the feeling with you asking, and then they will say, yes, I need to go. And then the next stage on from that is they will then tell you when they need to go. But you have to keep on, and you have to keep reminding them, because, you know, it's a big change for them. And then a little tip is that, it's not really a tip, but I just want to say, for the first few days, it does seem like an uphill struggle, and you think it's never going to happen, like never going to happen. And then after a few days, it does click into place, so you just have to persevere with it. Yeah, it does. And like I said right at the beginning, the crucial thing is knowing when your child is ready. You can't rush them. Every child is different. Every child learns at a different age. Obviously you want them done really by the time they go to nursery. Because it's not great if they're still wetting themselves at nursery, and you've got to come home with bags of wet pants and leggings or shorts. Nobody wants more washing than they need. It's a bit later on in the day, as if you can't tell. I've got the lights on now, but I realised that there was something I should have said and I didn't. Well, 2 things actually. And one of them was, obviously, although I said, you know, Evie's practically potty trained, at night time she still wears a nappy, and if she goes for a nap during the day, she's still in a nappy, so she's not completely dry when she sleeps. That will probably come, you know, in a month or 2, but you know, it's just one step at a time. The other thing I wanted to say, and you would probably do this anyway, kind of goes without saying, but when they when they do go on the toilet or the potty, then obviously, you know, lots of praise and encouragement. Yay, well done. But I'm sure you do that anyway. Just think, you got to commit to it, and you just got to have realistic expectations. The first few days are going to be messy. You're going to get wet clothes, and just have to deal with it. But after the first few days, it definitely does get easier. So yeah, good luck. I hope you liked this video. I really hope it helps, and please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button too if you haven't already. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.